Esoteric Healing, a treatise on the seven rays, Volume IV by Alice A. Bailey. Introductory remarks. The entire subject of healing is as old as the ages themselves, and has ever been the subject of investigation and experiment. But as to the right use of the healing faculty and forces, the knowledge is in its infancy. Only in this age and generation is it at last possible to impart the laws of magnetic healing, and to indicate the causes of those diseases originating in the three inner bodies which today devastate the human frame, cause endless suffering and pain, and usher man through the portal which leads to the world of bodiless existence. Only today is man at the point in the evolution of his consciousness where he can begin to realize the power of the subjective worlds, and the new and vast science of psychology is his response to this growing interest. Processes of adjustment, of elimination and of cure engage the minds of all thoughtful people as well as of all suffering people. We have much to do, and I ask therefore for patience on your part. When one enters the realm of healing, one enters a world of much esoteric knowledge, and of an infinity of conclusions, and one is faced with the formulations of many minds, who, through the ages, have sought to heal and to help. The why and the wherefore of disease have been the subject of endless investigations and speculations, and much definite deduction has been made as to the cures of such complaints. There has been also much formulation of methods, of techniques, of formulae, of prescription, of varied manipulations and of theories. All these serve to fill the mind with many ideas, some correct, some erroneous, and this makes it most difficult for new ideas to enter and for the student to assimilate the hitherto unknown. Aspirants lose much by refusing to let go of that which the lower mind cherishes. When they do succeed in being entirely open-minded and are ready to accept the new theories and hypotheses, they discover that the old and dearly held truth is not really lost, but only relegated to its rightful place in a larger scheme. All initiates of the ageless wisdom are necessarily healers, though all may not heal the physical body. The reason for this is that all souls that have achieved any measure of true liberation are transmitters of spiritual energy. This automatically affects some aspect of the mechanism, which is used by the souls they contact. When I employ the word mechanism in these instructions, I refer to different aspects of the instrument, the body or form nature, through which all souls seek manifestation. I refer, therefore, to 1. The dense physical body, which is the sum total of all the organisms which compose it. These possess the varying functions which enable the soul to express itself on the physical, or objective plane as part of a greater, and more inclusive organism. The physical body is the response apparatus of the indwelling spiritual man, and serves to put that spiritual entity on rapport with the response apparatus of the planetary logos, the life in which we live and move and have our being. 2. The etheric body, which has one main objective. This is to vitalize and energize the physical body, and thus integrate it into the energy body of the earth, and of the solar system. It is a web of energy streams, of lines of force and of light. It constitutes part of the vast network of energies which underlies all forms, whether great or small, microcosmic or macrocosmic. Along these lines of energy the cosmic forces flow, as the blood flows through the veins and arteries. This constant, individual human, planetary and solar circulation of life forces through the etheric bodies of all forms, is the basis of all manifested life, and the expression of the essential non-separateness of all life. 3. The astral or desire body, sometimes called the emotional body, is the effect of the interplay of desire and of sentient response upon the self at the center, and the resultant effect in that body is experienced as emotion and as pain and pleasure and the other pairs of opposites. In these two bodies, the etheric and astral bodies, 90% of the causes of physical disease and troubles is to be found. 4. The mental body, or that much of the chitta, or mind stuff which an individual human unit can use and impress, constitutes the fourth of the series of mechanisms at the disposal of the soul. At the same time, let it not be forgotten that these four constitute one mechanism. 5% of all modern disease originates in this body or state of consciousness, and here I wish to enunciate the truth that the constant reiteration by certain schools of healers that the mind is the cause of all sickness is not as yet a fact. 1,000,000 years hence, when the focus of human attention has shifted from the emotional nature to the mind, and when men are essentially mental, as today they are essentially emotional, then the causes of disease must be sought in the mind realm. They are today to be found, except in the fewer cases, in lack of vitality, or in too much stimulation, and in the realm of feeling, of desires, thwarted or overindulged, and in the moods, suppressions, or expressions of the deep-seated longings, irritations, secret delights and the many hidden impulses which emanate from the desire life of the subject. This urge to be and to have has one of all built, and is building, the outer physical response apparatus, and is today forcing a mechanism that has been constructed essentially for physical ends, to serve more subjective purposes. This again produces trouble, and only when man realizes that within the outer physical sheath there exist other bodies which serve more subtle response purposes will we see the gradual readjustment and health of the physical body. With these more subtle sheaths we shall later deal. You naturally ask here, what is the general plan which I shall seek to follow as I instruct you in the laws of healing, those laws which guide the initiates and must gradually supersede the more physical methods of the present art of healing? You naturally also seek to know, what is the special technique which you as healers must learn to employ, both as regards yourselves and as regards those you seek to heal. I will briefly outline the teaching I shall endeavor to give, and point out where you must lay the emphasis, as you commence the study of this subject. I shall endeavor first of all to touch upon the causes of disease, for the occult student must ever begin in the world of origins and not in the world of effects. In the second place, I shall elaborate the 7 methods of healing which govern the work of restitution, as it is called in the occult terminology, as practiced by the initiates of the world. These determine the techniques which must be employed. You will note that these methods and techniques are conditioned by the rays, of which I have written elsewhere, 1. A treatise on the 7 rays, volumes I and II. Asterisk, and that therefore the healer has to take into consideration, not only his own ray but also the ray of the patient. There are therefore 7 ray techniques, and these require elucidation before they can be applied intelligently. In the third place, I shall lay emphasis upon psychological healing and upon the need to deal with the patient in his inner life, for the basic law underlying all occult healing may be stated to be as follows. All disease is the result of inhibited soul life, and that is true of all forms in all kingdoms. The art of the healer consists in releasing the soul, so that its life can flow through the aggregate of organisms which constitute any particular form. It is interesting to note that the attempt of the scientist to release the energy of the atom is of the same general nature as the work of the esotericist, when he endeavors to release the energy of the soul. In this release the nature of the true art of healing is hidden. Herein lies an occult hint. In the fourth place, we will consider the physical body, its diseases and ills, but only after we have studied that part of man which lies behind and surrounding the dense physical body. In that way we shall work from the world of inner causes to the world of outer happenings. We shall see that all that concerns the health of man originates from 1. The sum total of forces, feelings, desires and occasional mental processes which characterizes the 3 subtler bodies and determines the life and experience of the physical body. 2. The effect upon the physical body of the condition of humanity as a whole. A human being is an integral part of humanity, an organism in a greater organism. Conditions existing in the whole will be reflected in the unit self, and many of the ills from which man suffers today are the effect upon him of conditions existing in the fourth kingdom in nature as a whole. For these he is not held responsible. 3. The effect upon his physical body of the planetary life, which is the expression of the life of the planetary Logos, who is an evolving entity. The implications of this are largely beyond our ken, but the effects are discernible. I am not interested primarily in training individuals in order to make them more efficient healers. It is group healing at which I aim, and it is the work which is done in formation which interests me at this time. But no group of people can work as a unit, unless they love and serve each other. The healing energy of the spiritual hierarchy cannot flow through the group, if there is disharmony and criticism. The first work, therefore, of any group of healers, is to establish themselves in love and to work towards group unity and understanding. I would like to point out here the need for patience as a healing group integrates and the auras of the group members blend. It takes a little time for people to learn to work together in perfect understanding and impersonality, and at the same time, to achieve, during their work, a one-pointedness which will produce the needed group rhythm, a rhythm of such unity and intensity that the work can synchronize internally. Aspirants and students as they work along these lines must train themselves to think as a group, and to give to the group, without a niggardly or reticent spirit, the best that is in them, and also the fruit of their meditation upon these matters. I might also add that these instructions must be as concise as possible. I shall have to endeavor to put much truth and information into a brief space, so as to make each sentence convey some real idea and give some real light on the problems which confront a healing group. That which I have to say will fall into two parts. First, we will deal with the general work of healing and teaching, and this will involve the impartation by me of laws, of techniques and methods. Secondly, we will consider the healer, and how he can perfect himself in the art of healing. Is it not true that the prime requisite of all healers is a sympathetic rapport with the patient, so that the healer achieves insight into the trouble and establishes the confidence of the patient? 2 words I give you which embody the requirements of all true healers, and towards which you must work. They are magnetism and radiation. A healer must be magnetic above everything else, and he must attract to him A. the power of his own soul. This involves alignment through individual meditation. B. those whom he can help. This involves a decentralized attitude. C. those energies, when need arises, which will stimulate the patient to the desired activity. This involves occult knowledge and a trained mind. The healer must understand also how to radiate, for the radiation of the soul will stimulate to activity the soul of the one to be healed, and the healing process will be set in motion. The radiation of his mind will illumine the other mind, and polarize the will of the patient. The radiation of his astral body, controlled and selfless,